All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to mention that we had some difficulties in this video with back focusing. It's something that I addressed and it will be taken care of by the next video. I just wanted to mention that before we get started, but please enjoy the video regardless. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. We switched it up a little bit because the lighting upstairs was getting crazy. Every time the clouds rolled in, it changed the exposure. So I set up something down here in the basement. The sound should actually be a lot better because we're basically in a hole. So hopefully there's an improvement on that side too. In any case, today I wanted to get into 7 tips for shooting at the sand dune. And I understand that this is going to be a very California, or I guess if you're in the Middle East or, places with sand dunes, it's a very specific kind of shoot. But if you live anywhere close to Southern California, or you plan on making a trip out here, or you're going to Las Vegas or anything like that, here are some tips if you're going to plan a shoot at the sand dunes. Tip number 1, just like any other shoot that we do, we always schedule it later on in the afternoon. The reason for that on this one is twofold. One, for lighting, that's the easy one. The second reason is because of the heat. Now, if you're shooting in the summer, that's going to be a really, really big thing to consider, because we have shot there when it's 100 and something degrees, and it's not it's not pleasant for anybody. So usually we schedule, let's say sunset is at 7 p.m. in the summer, we'll schedule our session to start around 6. We don't want to start too early because otherwise the lighting is just going to be too harsh. A little side tip on that, I remember last time I was speaking with Andrew and I was telling him, for me personally, I like when the sun is just about to go down, or rather it just dipped over the horizon, or I guess it would be under the horizon. Whatever it is, when it just went down, because the lighting is going to be a lot softer on the sand. So instead of having the sharp lines from the dunes, you're going to have like a really soft, dreamy kind of feel. And now that type of lighting is only going to last about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops. So kind of be aware of that you don't have too much time with that. But that to me is my favorite. It's right when the sun goes down and you get that really smooth, soft lighting. Another thing that I wanted to mention is if you like doing astrophotography or anything to do at night, check the moon cycle, because if you want stars in your shot, you want to do those long shutter shots where you do get a ton of stars, you want the moon to be at new moon or close to it, because if the moon is out and it's a full moon, it's going to be way too bright in that situation to really get that many stars. So if that's something that is important to you and something that you want to experiment with, or something that you know about, shooting when it's a new moon or close to it is going to help you out to get more stars in your sky. Tip number 3, time of the year. So this is very important for multiple reasons. One, if you're going in the summer, just assume that it's going to be really, really hot. So you have to take that into account, not just for yourself, but also for your couple. So especially if they're wearing a jacket, sometimes if you're wearing a suit or something like that, if it's 110, 115 degrees, it's going to be a very rough shoot. So take that into account. If you're shooting close to winter or anything like that, check the wind forecast. That's very important, because sometimes it's so windy. I remember one time we shot, and unfortunately it wasn't the ideal situation, but they were visiting from out of state, so it was the only time that we can do it. And the wind was just a little intense. It was almost like every couple of seconds after we shot, we ducked down and waited for the sand blasting to pass and then kept shooting. If you have the ability or you have the freedom to check if it's going to be windy, go on and check the wind forecast and aim for a day that maybe is not as windy. So when you schedule your session, maybe say on this week, we'll check between Monday and Wednesday, or Wednesday to Friday, and see which day is going to align the best. I know not everybody's schedule is as flexible, but if that's a possibility, or if that's an option, I would definitely try to schedule it with that, and explain to them why, because you don't want to be sanded down when you're there. So, just a little tip on that, which I didn't think about that until, you're in there getting blasted in the face with sand. And tip number 4 kind of goes in line with the previous one about time of the year, temperature, all that. Make sure you pack snacks, drinks, water. Make sure that you are prepared. A lot of these places, whether you do Dumont Dunes in Baker, California, or if you do Glamis Dunes, which is closer to Arizona, those are the 2 major ones that we've shot at.
you're pretty far away from anything. So the last thing you want to do is, go down for the count because you ran out of energy, your blood sugar dropped, or you're dehydrated. Assume the worst. Pack it, and then if you don't need it, great. But if not, at least you have something to snack on. I remember one of the sessions that we did, it was really hot and she was just done. We had a couple of waters, but it got to the point where she was just completely done, and you don't want to get to that point. You want to snack around, take your time, and you learn as you shoot more. But I hope that this video helps you guys so you don't run through, you can iron out all the nonsense before you get there. So that was one of the things, is snacks, drinks, that way everybody's happy. Tip number 5, my favorite number, the type of car. This is more important, I would say, for Dumont Dunes than Glamis. Glamis, you can actually park right into the lot and then just get out and go shoot. So that's actually a little bit easier to do. And essentially they look the same. They look similar, I guess. It's not like a huge difference. You're getting sand dunes or sand dunes. It's not a huge difference. So if you want something that's a little bit easier, Glamis would probably be it. Dumont Dunes is just cool, and honestly, next time we go there, we'll probably go straight to Vegas after that because you're more than halfway there. That's one thing that I regret from last time, is after we shot there, we came home and it turned into like a 14-hour day because of the drive. So my point is, if you're going to Dumont Dunes, the type of car, make sure you have a 4x4, make sure you have something that can handle off-road. Sergio will tell you that pushing a car out of the sand, and myself, I did it last time too, is not the funnest. So if you're going to drive close to the dunes, have a car that can handle it. Or the alternative situation would be park your car a little further away and then walk to the dunes, because it is a little harder. There's an area that's a little harder. That's what I did last time, is I parked there, and then with the couple, I got in their car and we went up to the closer to the dunes because they had a 4x4. Side tip, pin drop exactly where you parked. Because last time we parked and it was a new moon, and I couldn't find that damn car for like 10 or 15 minutes. And by I mean the couple drove me around until we found the thing. So pin drop it, or, just freaking when you start, as soon as you start shooting, make an arrow, like point exactly back where you need to go find your car, because that was quite the adventure. So 4x4 is ideal if you're gonna go shoot at the dunes. And if you don't have one, hell, maybe renting one might be a smart idea. It's better that than being in the middle of nowhere with no service and you're stuck now. Tip number 6, which I guess goes with tip number 5 because I just gave that away, or yeah, go to Vegas after, I guess. If you do Dumont Dunes, just go to Vegas. It's like an hour away and you don't have to go out there and party and do stupid nonsense. But take it from me, you don't want to drive 4 hours, 5 hours in traffic sometimes because there were accidents, whatever. Shoot for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then drive another 5 or 6 hours back. It's kind of a pain in the you-know-what. So I would rather just go and, get a hotel in Vegas, relax for a little bit, and come back. I would allocate that into the budget. I would allocate that into your schedule. So the next day, obviously, if you can not have to run back to work or anything like that, that would be ideal. But yeah, I just wanted to include that because that's something that last time I wish I would have done. Instead of going back and forth in a day, don't kill yourself. It's not worth it. It's exhausting. And then the last thing is wardrobe. So one thing that I mentioned to our last couple is, you don't have to show up dressed, ready to go by the time you get there. Like, take your clothes, packed up, ready to get there. And then when you get there, you can always change. They do have bathrooms, although I would rather just change on the other side of the car than go into those dirty things. But just, bring options with clothes. It's better to have and not need than need and not have. So bring options, bring things that you can change in. If you have a steamer or something like that, maybe it's a good idea to bring it because it may get crinkled on the way, and that way you can just steam it out. That's just going a little extra. If you want, it doesn't hurt. I mean, how much space does it really take? And I would say that's pretty much it. That kind of covers it, like the main things that we ran into when we shot at the sand dunes. I would say priority, the top things would be wind, because if the wind is a mess, you're not shooting. It's going to be very, very difficult. And the 4x4 situation, because you don't want to have to push your way out, or if you don't have anybody to help you, or too many, it can get a little dicey. Again, that's more for Dumont Dunes. Glamis, easy peasy. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for everybody that's left a comment. Thank you for everyone that's been subscribing. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to continue posting as much as I can, as much as time allows. But right now, I got to go shoot. Thank you guys.